Hey guys, welcome to the All Things Zara G podcast, hosted by me, Zara G, where I bring you good vibes, good energy, and wholesome conversations. And today's conversation, it's definitely good vibes. It's maybe not the happiest, I guess, but I feel like I made an oath to myself to always show up and always show up as myself. And I think it's important to say that myself will not be seeing 365 days of happiness all the time. And that's okay. Like I've come to terms with that. Life is a journey. It's a roller coaster. It's a sprint, no marathon. It's everything. So I have come to terms with the ups and downs of life. I just didn't know if this was something I wanted to share, but I think it's important because, like I said, I'm gonna show up as me. And the people that want to accept me will. And this goes for the same for you guys. When you cannot show up as your best self, the people who love you will always love you. It will be unconditional. So, yeah, let's get started. So, funny enough, like, obviously, the way the episodes are going to come out is still like being planned. But obviously, earlier in the year, I've started recording, and there is an episode that you guys will see where I am just content. I am happy. The sun is beaming off my face. It could be a rainy day, and I am still shining. But like in the UK, summer comes to an end and the rain starts pouring, and that genuinely felt like that has happened. So it's funny because like I'm gonna quickly like reference the episode, and I'm gonna tell you where a part where I'm like, yeah guys, I'm like so happy, I don't want to jinx it, and I'm watching it back in the space that I am now, and I felt like, oh my god, did I jinx it? And no, I didn't jinx it. It's just life has its ups and downs, and I want to show up. I mean, I don't really want to show up how I am now, but I have to, because this is what being a human is. Like, we have trials, we have tribulations, and at the end of it, we can't let them get us down. But going back into how things have happened, it was really like when it rains, it pours, and my depressive episode, oh, thrived in it. It thrived, absolutely thrived in the rain. Literally thrived. Like, I think one day I was out there just standing in the rain just so I could feel something, because at a point of where my mental health was, I was so numb to it all. I think I'm going to break down kind of the symptoms that I go through when I find myself in a depressive episode. And I am so self-aware, and I absolutely hate that I'm self-aware, and I love it. But I feel like being self-aware and understanding what a depressive episode looks like to me is something I mean, it's unfortunate that people can relate to it, but then again, this is something that needs to be spoken about so people understand that they're not alone, and that there are tools to kind of help you to kind of bring you out of these states. Because like I said in my episode, everyone deserves happiness. And just because we don't get it 365 times a year, or in this case 366, because we don't get it doesn't mean we should not thrive for it. So yeah, let me break down my depressive episode. So I think for the 4 weeks I was a negative Nancy. I was dwelling in my shit. I will bleep that if I have to. But I was dwelling in it, and I preach so much about reaching out to your community, but that is so easier said than done. And it's so easy to say it when you're happy, but when you're not, you don't want to reach out to anyone. You you almost don't want to burden the people around you who have seen you so bubbly with your sadness. And that's what it is. Depression. And it hurts me. Every time I have to say it, I get stabbed. But like, having depression or being in a depressive episode won't allow you to believe that there is happiness. It won't allow you to think that there are better days, because your brain is just constantly feeding you this negativity that you just think, oh my God. And for the people that don't understand what depression is or have never experienced a depressive episode, it's very hard to kind of actualize it or materialize it. But my experience is my depression is telling me, yeah, Zara, like, it ain't good for you, darling. This life don't like you. Like, the world has been cruel to me, and I have come to understand that my mental health has had its battles, and my depression will feed, it will thrive, it will eat off it. It will take every sad, bad, ugly, horrific either memory or word or action and exacerbate it. It will times it by 10, and it will all happen in my head, and I will be I'm unable to unscramble it, and I am sitting in it and I don't know what to do. And my depression feels like a dark hole in the ground that someone is even filling up with water. Like, there is even a hose in there, and I cannot come up and catch a breath. It is dark. It is scary. It is sad that I have to feel like that sometimes. But it's not okay. But it is life. It is me accepting that I have these days. And for anyone else that has those days and can describe depression in a way that relates to them, this is my space to say that I am so sorry that you have to go through that. I am so sorry that your mental health gets to a point where you have to feel like you want to just run away because you can't take it anymore. And it might even be like it doesn't even mean a literal sense. It means that you just want to escape the sadness, because that's what we're running from. We want to escape the negativity. No one that is depressed wants to feel like that. We weren't put on this earth for sadness. In saying that, I say, I'm so sorry to me as a human that I feel like that, but it is my truth. And sometimes it's a really hard pill to swallow when it's yourself, or your friends are going through it, or family members, and you just want to help them, and you can help them. You can actually help them. And it just takes kindness. You don't approach someone in a depressive episode with, hey, like, with contentment. You don't approach someone who's just sad. And the problem is that their sadness is just being amplified. Where someone might feel sad for like a day or an hour, I felt sad for 4 weeks. That was 4 weeks of sadness. It was 4 weeks of being sad, upset, having trigger upon trigger upon trigger. And I'm feeling these triggers a lot more because I'm already triggered. So someone is like, I'm just consistently being triggered and I'm not seeing a way out. Again, I'm in my hole and I'm like, hey guys. And as much as I did try to kind of shorten the episode, I couldn't. I couldn't. And at one point I said, I don't know how many more walks I can keep trying to go on. And I don't know how much, drives or conversations I can keep having with people. I feel how I feel and I can't unfeel it. Someone is not going to come and just remove it from me. But what I did learn in my 4th week, and I hope that I'm going to share this story just because I need people to understand that when someone is feeling like this, you meet them with kindness. You never meet them with unkindness, no matter how hard or how small their sadness might be, because that is I'm calling depression sadness. No matter how small or big that sadness might be, if it's grief, if it's they got hurt, if it's someone has disappointed them, and I have been disappointed, and if it's because someone didn't meet their needs when they needed to, I need you guys to understand that we meet sadness with kindness. We meet them with affirmations. These are tools that person may have, but just doesn't have the energy to kind of implicate on themselves. And I have to thank the people who have helped me in that 4th week, because I was really, I'm just about coming out of this episode, but I have to thank the people who met me with kindness, because in that 4th week was the first time that I genuinely cried tears of joy. And that was so weird. Like, I have never cried tears of joy. I felt joy. I've been so happy. Like, not to put on the side, like, I have experienced like really elevated moments of happiness and joy. And that's not to kind of take it away from this moment. But for the first time, I felt like I was getting hit after hit after hit of just triggers. And I just couldn't breathe. And I woke up one day and I was just getting ready to literally go to work. And I'm even thinking, okay, Zara, like, I'm preparing myself. We have to dissociate today. We are going to have to just show up how we are. And Zara, I get your hair's not done, but it is what it is. And, I'm just like grabbing my bags and I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm even running late. I'm like, can this get any worse? And I see a little like envelope in the corridor, the postman's to come. And I go, oh, okay, what's this? And I open it because I'm like, oh, this is really cute. Like, this is odd. But then I'm thinking, is this like a cute little fine? Like, have the council got better at like wrapping up their fines? Because I was like, it literally felt like all I needed was a pin to drop for something. Like, it was just raining and pouring in my head. So I was like, yeah. I was like, this is a fine. And I bet you they've wrapped it up all cute just to could be like, boom, here you go, Zara. Here's like a parking fine or a ticket or something. I don't know. Like, that's where my head was at, because you don't see world with your rose tinted glasses. So I go and I open this envelope and I see a little postcard, and this postcard was so lovely. It was maybe about 4 or 5 lines of just positivity. And it was that kind gesture and the words that made my heart melt in that moment. In that moment, I felt human again. Like, I felt like I just, honestly, I just cried. I'm still grabbing my stuff for work. But it's the first time that I felt, oh my God, like, I deserve this kindness. It was like a big warm hug. And I needed that hug. I needed that spark in me to light up, to be ignited, because it hadn't been. It just hadn't been. The spark in me had died. And thank you to the person who kind of ignited that spark again in me, to allow me to even show up today where I'm not 100% myself. I'm probably at 60 to 75%, but it showed me that I deserved it. It showed me that even in these moments, life is so hard, but all you need is just someone or something that can just keep you going and not leave you in these moments, and not elongate these episodes. And just that little postcard, and then the help that I have been getting from a few people, and in terms of like people that just want to help me with my podcast, or people who want to give me, advice on my career, because I still want my career, and people who just having these little conversations that bring back the humanity in me that I had lost over the course of 4 weeks is what is important. And it's what allows people to maybe come out of a depressive episode. Because when you're in a depressive episode, and I don't know if many people can relate here, but you don't want to ask for help. You don't want to burden anyone. It's so easy when I was happy and I was like, yeah, reach out to your community, speak to your community. Yeah, sometimes you can't. And I made the mistake of reaching out to a community member, and, and sometimes it doesn't go how you think it's going to go. It's unfortunate and we move forward, but it's a case of when you're in these hard moments, you have to have that hope. You have to believe that you are deserving of that hope. And for the people who are just listening to kind of hear what an experience like that is, if someone around you is going through that, or is having an episode and maybe hasn't communicated it, but you've seen a shift in their behavior, you may have seen a change in the way they talk or the way they're behaving and just kind of going through life, just show them the tiniest bit of kindness that you can. The little bit. That's all you need to do. And sometimes it might help, sometimes it might not. In a time of an episode, as easy as it is to say, I want to be out, it's going to be done, sometimes you need to have patience. And that's what I've needed. Literally, I needed to have patience with myself to get to a better place. Because my depression had come to a point where it physically made me unwell. Like, I was under so much stress that physically I got sick. I was like, my immune system was weakened and I was just unwell and wasn't feeling super great. So can you imagine, just everything is just piling on, and now you're like physically unwell and your body is it's almost telling you, Zara, you need to go into a hard reset right now. We are forcing you to get some rest. We are forcing you to take it easy. Like, you need to take it easy. And yeah, I guess that was my experience with my depressive episode. And I feel like there's more that I can say in terms of symptoms. But at this point, because I'm kind of coming out of it, I can't remember. So it's kind of hard for me to like sit here and be vulnerable. And really and truly, I didn't want to do an episode whilst I was like this. I didn't want to record whilst I've been in this space. Because I always want to be my best self. I always want to be happy, bubbly Zara, who has the rose-tinted lens. When I can see the world through unicorns and rainbows and leprechauns, I want to be like, that's the person I always want to show up as. But after having some very real and raw conversations, my authentic self is whoever I am in that day. And if it meant for 4 weeks I was in a depressive episode and I still showed up, that is my authentic self. Today, as much as I didn't want to be so vulnerable and be so open in where I am, the whole point of this podcast is so that I can create a community of people that are either going through similar things or can relate or want to understand what it's like when someone is in this space. And now that I'm slowly coming out of this space, and it's going to take time, but I will come out, and I want to see the world through rose-tinted glasses again. I'm at a point in my life where before, if I was in a depressive episode, I'd stay in it, I'd sit in it, and I'd be like, you know what? If it's only ever going to get bad and it's only ever going to rain, why does summer need to come? You know? Why do I need to see the world through a joyous lens if it's only ever going to just rain the next day? Whereas now, I'm thriving to see the world through the rose-tinted glasses. Like, I need that. I want that. I'm craving it. I want to do all the work that will get me to see the world through happiness and joy, and to be so content in life, and to be so happy, and to receive the blessings that I am deserving of. But I know it's a journey. I know that I have to go through the ups and downs. And when I'm in a depressive episode, I really do feel like, why is it that when I'm down, I'm not like here? I'm like rock bottom. Like, it always feels like I'm right in it, like I'm stuck in the mud. And the way I can get out of this really was just having those conversations, like either opening up where I was with certain people that provided me that safe space, because not everybody is a safe space, and not everybody deserves your vulnerability. No one person who can be unkind or doesn't deserve you in your capacity of how you show up doesn't, they don't always deserve you. They don't, just because they see you when you're happy doesn't mean they deserve you when you're sad. But bringing it back in, I feel like having those conversations and discussing the things that you need to discuss and kind of opening up and showing that vulnerability is what's allowed me to even show up today. I didn't want to show up. I mean, I'm still showing up, but like, I didn't want to be this vulnerable. Why do I always have to be so vulnerable? But this is a space for people to relate, not want to relate, but want to be understanding of mental health difficulties. Again, I am not just my mental health, but my mental health is me. And if this is how I am today, this is how I am. And again, like, what's helping me get out of this kind of episode is starting to talk to people, trusting the people that I talk to, ensuring that I am vulnerable with the right people, not the wrong people, and ensuring that I stay away from self-destructive tendencies or behaviors. Wanting to sit in it is only good until you want to come out of it. Wanting to sit in it and stay in it is not good. That's self-destructive. And understanding that I want the tools, knowing that I wanted to not be here all the time, knowing that I want to see life from like the best view, the best perspective. And it's really important to have those conversations with people that you feel safe with, and finding ways to feel safe again and really integrating back into society. It's easier said than done. And I literally say that because, I've booked social events, or I've booked time to see people because I know that's good for my mental health. But yet me and my mind are fighting, where half is like, Zara, that's good for you, go and do it. And the other half is like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm mentally exhausted. But I know that it's good for me. I know, so it's almost having to put myself in a position where I have to keep going. I know that this podcast is good for me. I love this. I enjoy doing this. Yet it's taken me 4 weeks to sit back here and record another episode. So it's taking the little steps again. It's literally learning how to walk back into society. But it's also for me to tell you that it's okay to take those little steps. Go and see the people that you feel safe with when you are ready. You know, go do those social activities when you are ready. Do the little things. Go see family, friends. Go on a date. I don't know. That might help. Go and live an experience that you deserve when you are ready, of course. But don't deprive yourself of anything that will make you happy. And understanding that at the end of these episodes, you deserve to see the world through a joyous lens. You deserve the happiness. You deserve to feel empowered. You are amazing. You are beautiful. You are handsome. If you're a man and you're listening to this, you are amazing. The world deserves you. And even if that you is at 50%, 40%, 20%, the world is deserving of you. You are here for a reason. And these are like affirmations that even I need to take in myself. But for the people that are listening, you are so deserving of that happiness. Whether you get it one day out of the 366 days of this year, whether you get it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. I got it for 40 days. I counted from December to January. I had 40 days of happiness, and then the rain started pouring and it didn't stop. And we're at a drizzle right now, but I know I deserve that happiness, and I'm gonna go and get it, and I'm gonna do the things that will take me there. And doing this podcast is one of them. So I have shown up, as hard as it is and as difficult as showing up and being vulnerable and sharing this vulnerability is. I really just want to round up today's episode with being this vulnerable is hard for me right now, but I do it in hopes that the people who have gone through the same thing, a similar thing, maybe even a worse thing, can believe and can relate and can get to a point that they deserve happiness. You deserve to see that happiness. Happiness. You just deserve it. Your face deserves to beam. It deserves to shine in every single room you enter. You deserve it. You deserve to feel what tears of happiness feel like. Because for me, I needed that. I needed to know that there was joy in something. And there is joy in something. And there is joy in everything where you can find it. But you do need the right tools. And sometimes give yourself grace when you don't have those tools. Not everyone has the privilege of having therapy or understanding those tools. A lot of us are just surviving. And we are just getting through day by day by day in hopes that whatever we're surviving from is going to end. And it just is like Groundhog Day, and you go and you go and you go. And for all the people that is happening to, and if you enter that stage where that happens, I hope you find little things that find you joy. And I hope you are able to find the tools to help you and save you from survival mode. I want to conclude today's episode on the fact that we all deserve happiness. And as hard as it is to show up and record, I hope that you have felt heard, or you know how to understand someone when someone is going through this, or it brings something to you. I hope I can ignite the little spark today that is missing. And I know that life won't always be rose tinted glasses, or life won't always be perfect and great. But for when I do come back to a state where I might go back into an episode, I always want to believe that joy will come at the end of it. Happiness will be at the end. Something better. God cannot be testing me. He cannot be testing me without giving me a reward at the end. God does not burden a soul more than that they can bear. And I've been taking that, and that's what's been getting me through. Because I said, God, you cannot be burdening me like this. I know there's something bigger. I know your plan is bigger than just these 4 weeks of me feeling like this. I know that you are preparing me for something. And I hope that I am ready to reap those blessings. And for you guys listening, I hope you are prepared and you are at a stage where you can reap those blessings and you believe that those blessings are coming, because the more resilient you are, the more that you fight. And not that you deserve to fight. You shouldn't have to fight. You shouldn't have to go through survival mode. But the more that you do, I hope that the bigger your reward is. And I hope that you believe that in yourself. Because when others cannot show up for you, you show up for you. That is the kindest thing you can do for yourself when times are this hard. So yeah, I guess I'm concluding the All Things RG podcast. I hope I brought you good vibes. I hope I brought you good energy. And I hope this wholesome conversation finds you at a time that you need it. And yeah. Hey guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Make sure you interact using the hashtag AllThingsRG hashtag on Twitter. And make sure you follow me on all my socials, because why not? Like, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, YouTube. I'm not on Pinterest though. But yeah, I'm on all of it. So make sure you literally just like, subscribe, and comment. And we can grow this community. And yeah, thank you.